Self-Development Tactics podcast. Today back to the roots and a bit of the Stoicism subreddit and or the self-development or self-improvement subreddit. It is often quite interesting and also reframing to see the problems other people are having and maybe also trying to figure out what you could do when you would be in such a situation. If this was perfect English, I don't fucking know. But anyway, also something to notice, because I'm just having it on my notes here, as I've written it down maybe 2 days ago or whatever. Mike, Sealey. I have gotten this name from Andrew Huberman because he apparently, and he is, sharing meditation and also hypnosis scripts online. So on YouTube, you can just, fire it up and do this. Maybe treatment, you can do this script with yourself. You're just, having it on your phone, you're laying down, you're sitting, and you're doing this hypnosis. And I've tried it out, and I want to quickly talk about that because I think it might be useful for some people. I have, spent a lot of time, might be wrong, but I have spent some time to, find the correct one for me, because I'm not necessarily into, getting rid of anxiety, getting rid of depression. I think there are certain ones, I might actually look it up. Michael Sealey or Mike Sealey, whatever. And there you can see a few of those scripts that he's having. For example, fall asleep fast, which apparently is a hypnosis, guided meditation for resting with a quiet mind, calm down anxiety and overthinking, hypnosis for clearing subconscious negativity. As you can see, this is the one that I did, and there are many more. He's actually uploading quite a few of them, and they're also quite popular, and it's also been some time. Sometimes, this one was 5 years ago when he uploaded it. Something to notice is that it is not always necessarily a meditation when in the caption or when in the title stands or says it is a meditation. And also the opposite around, or the opposite way, when it is just called a hypnosis script or hypnosis just period, it doesn't necessarily have to be just quote-unquote hypnosis. I feel like that he might be using both terms, because in the script or the program that I did, this video that I was listening to, he stated that you can also refer to it, because it was hypnosis, you can refer to it as a meditation as well. So I think it really depends on, what works better for you. For me, it kind of works better when I think about it as a hypnosis for whatever reason, which is, of course, pre-judgment, period. Let's actually fire up the self-improvement subreddit. And also quite often, and in general, there is such a lot of advice, and also often pretty good advice. And you get advice. So when you're posting something and you are actually indeed having this problem, you're not shitting around, you're not posting it a million times, and you get advice and you get certain thoughts from certain people that might have been in the exact same position that you are in as well. Of course, all this advice, all of those sayings, whatever those people are saying, should be taken with a grain of salt. I think it always should be when it is online and when it is not a certified therapist, for example. Even then, I guess, being a bit critical and just, thinking for yourself as well might be just a good idea. But yeah, let's have a look. What's always quite interesting is that camera is sometimes really shitty. A black background, or maybe a green one, might be rather useful here. Anyway, there we go. We're having something like, I took cold showers for 100 days consistently, and this is why they are fantastic. Not only are they fantastic in terms of physical health, but also mental health, also when it comes to focus, since it spikes adrenaline, maybe noradrenaline. I am not quite sophisticated when it comes to the very scientific terms or the exact terms and terminologies and whatever. But still, I also take cold showers every single day. I am not like, and back in the days I've done it like this. I've been like, okay, I'm a cold shower for 5 minutes straight. Sometimes I think the best was 6 minutes straight, and sometimes taking a cold bath and whatever. And when I moved to my own flat, I was actually a a bit angry, to be honest, to find out that the cold water that I'm having access to is not as cold as it was when I was at home. So I was actually a bit pissed off by that, and really unhappy about that, as well as I'm unhappy about the quality here. When I'm doing this, it is fine. So I might just be doing this. Yeah. So I was indeed a bit unhappy about that, about the fact that the cold water wasn't as cold as at home at my parents' house. But still, I'm doing it every day, and I don't necessarily like it. It is not always, but often, sometimes, it is like, okay, I really don't want to do it, but when it is a habit, you just do it. I basically am not doing it every day. I'm doing it every time I shower. I don't necessarily shower every day. Most often I do, just because I'm physically active also quite every single day, and it just makes sense. Why shouldn't I do that? Anyway, let's have a look. I'm not gonna go into that one. I do not necessarily think that it is worth going through, but yeah. Finally blocked her 2 years later. I could actually turn down the volume there. 2 years later. Hey guys, it is day 1 of no contact from me 2 years post breakup. I dated this girl between 2018 and 2020, and we separated and became best friends for the last 2 years. I'm 22, she's 20. We talked every day from 2018 until last night. She moved halfway across the world at the start of this year, and since that move she has changed. Her replies became weaker, and she's living her life there, partying and focusing on other things, as you do, which also, by the way, makes sense, and nothing necessarily to be to kind of think that it is weird. I mean, when you're in completely different space with probably different people, and you've also seen a lot, chances are that you're just gonna change, and certain things may become less important. A bit of a thing there is, when people become less important, people that once were really important, one has to make sure to realize that this might lead to certain change that in the end, later on, may not be that great. So I am not the biggest fan of keeping people warm, quote unquote, being quite an asshole and just doing just as much so that those people are indeed still your friends and whatever. But on the other hand, some people, some really good people, and I am very fortunate to also have such people in life, and this is also why I can talk about it. Even if you do not see them that often, it is still always nice. I don't want to be like, okay, it is still like we have been together all the time and whatever. No, this is not the case. People change, things change, opinions change, but the core person is still the same. Of course, certain aspects of this person might change. The looks, as I said, certain opinions about certain topics. It just is what it is, and people develop themselves. Fortunately, we are not staying the same, as well as my camera apparently is not staying the same. Can I kind of twist it a bit? I would really love to change that, but I can do this, which makes no sense. Capture audio only. Well, I don't know what is up with it. It's a bit unfortunate, and I'm very sorry for the bad quality there. But I'm actually interested in why blocking this person. I struggled with this, even though she made it clear to me many times that she's moved on and is living her best life. I still clung to her and I tried to make our convos fun, but it was turning into a slow torture, and I felt myself becoming needy and clingy. I lost my self-respect in the process. The last few days she took down a post of us from last year and told me she slept with guys. I had a little meltdown and then realized I couldn't do it anymore. I love this girl and I always will. I don't really think that you will always will. A little bit of a story, and there are many, tremendously many. That is really nice. Yes, this makes sense. So for people that might have the same problem, backlight comp is the issue there. For whatever reason, it was an issue. I don't really know, but I'm happy to have it fixed now because it was pissing me off quite a bit. So there are a couple of episodes, I think, at this point in time around my breakup that I have had 2 years ago. Yes. And I was also quite clingy, I guess. And of course, it takes some time till you notice that, it might not take that much time to notice it, but to act on it and realize that it is a problem, that you are too focused on this person. You're not seeing everything that you should be seeing. You're not seeing that, there are a ton of other people that are really great. There are a ton of other people that are amazing. It's not about this one person. Of course, you have loved this one person, you have really enjoyed the time that you have spent with this one person, but there are many people on this planet. Of course, this exact person, you're not gonna have this exact person again. Maybe there are some twins, there's the possibility of it, but in this exact same scenario, also speaking this language and whatnot, look-wise there might be a twin, but in terms of everything else, I'm not quite sure. Anyway, something to notice it is that there are many people, period. Many really good people. And when you are in love, you are quite blind to a lot of things. As well as, I think, there are other people that, in the end actually become even more important to you, and you notice that they're even better. And maybe sometimes it's also the opposite way, that you're breaking up with somebody, so you are breaking up with somebody, and afterwards you notice, well, this was actually a really good person. It was actually a really cool person, a person that I liked actually even more than I thought, and even better person than I think it is, because I have not had like the comparison to other people, to other, to other partners, to whatever. But also alone time is pretty cool, and showing yourself, I don't want to say developing yourself because it is so cliche, okay, I have broken up and therefore I am now just, working on myself. I'm trying to be, to better myself and then whatever. Of course, it is great to do so. It is a good idea also to do so, but I don't know. I don't want to necessarily focus on that right now. What I want to make clear for everyone that might be in a breakup situation or might be after a breakup situation, there are many people, period. I don't want to repeat it once again, but there are many people, many great people. And at this point in time in my life, I can say, yes, there are many great people. And actually, indeed, at this point in time, one particular person in general, one particular person that is really great. And I'm very happy about everything that went on and everything that, just life gave me and life throw at me quite. And this should not be some sort of fucking motivation bullshit thing. No, this is just, I think, what life is like. Sometimes things happen, but something to focus on, something to always keep in mind is there is no reason to be a bad person to anyone. Quite. I really want to underline that. Quite. Of course, certain situations that might be imaginable, one can be an asshole and it is okay. But I think that there is a lot of confidence, self-confidence, a lot of pride one can take in remembering to always have been good to other people, to always have been trying to do the right thing in most situations. So whether blocking this person, whether being an asshole, whether just, I don't know, many things is right, correct, and whatever, really depends on what you think is right, correct, and whatever. So I blocked her from socials last night without even saying anything. I had sent endless paragraphs in the past about loving her and caring for her, even while being across the world from each other. I didn't feel the need to say anything. I just removed and let go. Won't lie and say part of me wonders if she's ever realized how much I loved her, or down the road we cross paths again somehow. But for now, I have finally taken the courage and let go after so long, and I'm begging my road to healing. Begging, yes, beginning. Of course, beginning my road to healing. Yes. And there is a really, at this point, cringy motivation picture that you've probably seen 100 times on Instagram, where there's a hand and a rope, and the rope is cutting into the hand because letting go is not as painful as holding onto this very dry and skin-ripping road. Or rod, actually, not road, rod. What what's one thing that helped you to improve that no one talks about? Is there anything that you do or think about that help you actually improving that no one talks about ever suggested you? I think there are many things people suggest. It depends on what space you're in. It depends on whether you are referring to people that you have met in real life or people that you have quote-unquote met online. Because to have a quote-unquote mentor, you don't necessarily have to be in contact with this person, you know. Could also be some person that's having a lot of YouTube videos and so on and so forth. Still, something that really helped me, I would actually say things that help me most often are things that somebody is talking about. But I guess something that always helped me is doing sports, riding my bike, and then listening to my body, feeling, okay, I'm stressed, apparently. I'm stressed because of this reason or even because of, I don't actually know. So let's do something about that. And I think down the road, and also through science, because, you know, things change and things are being developed and whatever, you know, there's more research on quite everything now as it was 10 years ago, which just makes sense. But you'll down the road realize that, okay, this is because of this and that. And well, I think doing sports and also meditating and being in the right spaces, having the right people, I think it's always a good idea. It's always good advice to give. What do I do during the time I spend not masturbating? I don't know, you can do a lot. I'm easing my way into self-improvement. I stopped playing video games and I've recently been struggling with nofap. I go 2 to 5 days without masturbating, but I always end up relapsing because at a certain point it ends up feeling useless. And now I'm spitting. Nice. The problem that I am having with, I don't want to say with this post, but kind of with this post is, who said that playing video games is bad? I think this is kind of the dark side of self-improvement and self-development and self-whatever, that apparently playing video games is so bad and you have to hustle every day, you have to do shit all day long, you have to be busy all the time. But at some point you'll realize that life is not always about quote-unquote hustling. Also because hustling is some bullshit concept. Unless you're actually working on something, but I want to underline working on something that makes sense, is useful for somebody, maybe useful for yourself, but hopefully useful for somebody out there. But you will realize, and I've kind of been in that same space as well, I've ditched playing video games, I've ditched even listening to fucking music because I thought, well, let's just listen to some self-improvement motivation shits all the time. And I don't want to say that it did not impact me in any way, it did, but at some point you'll realize that life has more facets than this one. And nofap and not masturbating and whatever, yeah, it is cool and whatever. But I feel like when you're focusing on something and when you're giving a lot of weight to something, it becomes more significant than it actually is. I don't know. I mean, when your whole life is focusing on, okay, I'm not gonna masturbate. First of all, you're probably spending a lot of brain energy, brain juice, but it probably becomes also more significant when you relapse, and also, of course, it becomes more significant when you're not relapsing and when you're staying on your streak and whatever. There's science behind it, yes, but I don't know. I think focusing on some other things might be a good idea, and there's also balance in life. Of course, I want to get my shit done. Of course, I have to do this, that, and the other thing. But, you know, what about enjoyment? I'm only having one life. At some point, I'm gonna fucking die. Why shouldn't I just also enjoy things? I think playing hard and working hard makes sense. Doing the things that you have to do, that you want to do, you know, the work, your job, being a student and whatever, doing this with a lot of energy, and well, actually as much energy as you can afford to give this task, but also on the other hand, enjoying things and not restricting yourself from doing anything, but, you know, being conscious about it. Of course, playing video games all day long and doing nothing else has some drawbacks, you know, period. This is what it is, and might also not be the go-to route to take when you're trying to build X, Y, and Z and whatever, but I wouldn't also necessarily cut it out completely. I mean, playing 1 hour a day is fucking fine. But yeah, with that being said, I'm willing to end the episode here. I'm hopefully gonna see you soon. What happened there? Interesting. Anyway, really happy to fix the fucking camera there. But yeah, see you soon.